coming for this Math in Science, the second part of Science in the Garden, Maths in the Garden. So thank you all for coming. The stage is yours, Claudia.
Thank you. This time I will. It will be small. Last week I was not aware of the time that I was taking. I thought we had longer time. So this time I will present just a small part about. It's more or less the complement of the last week, and then I will let the time to share, to have questions, and to share, to have a longer time to share. So please, Vitor, when it's 20 minutes. Please tell me, because I think 20 minutes is enough to present, and then 20 minutes maybe to discuss.
Okay, you can do 30, then we have 10 minutes to discuss.
Okay, so I will just... como é que eu partilho? Vou partilhar a tela.
Compartilhar a tela.
Tu estás aqui, o anfitrião desativou. Tens que deixar, não é?
Ok, já podes. Já podes já?
Já está?
Ainda não. Já.
Okay.
Já.
Espera um bocadinho, que é para eu pôr isto para a frente. Ok, só um bocadinho.
Vais começar no 9, não é?
Não, vou começar. Sim, vou começar mais à frente.
Podes começar no 9?
Não, o 9 foi o que nós fizemos. Tem que começar
okay,
aqui no.
Okay.
Okay, so this week we have it's another activity, but this activity that we made in the garden this time was more focused to develop a little bit of mathematical activity, let's say. So this time I plan to do a compost pile. So this is simple, and we need. I told, just to remember that in a little bit from last week. So in the beginning, I always prepare. The first thing that the teacher does when we arrive at the garden, the first thing is to prepare to prepare everything to welcome the kids. When they arrive, we have to have everything prepared. And why? Because in an open space, and for sure, if you already worked in the garden, you know how it is. They run everywhere, they are interested in everything, and they don't focus, they don't listen to you. So it's important when they arrive that you are like there, everything is prepared, so they are more present and focused. So I always prepare the tools. I have already all the materials for drawing on the tables, and the tables are prepared. And I invite them to sit down, and then I propose the task for the day that we have. So I try that they keep their attention about the task, and then I prompt the pupils to also to themselves. They say if they have ideas how to do it, or some proposals, and then usually they choose inside of the things that we have to do. They choose what they want to do, and they organize themselves in groups. I already told you last week that usually what happens in this age, as I'm working with kids between 7 and 10, usually they're organized by their closest friends, and so girls and boys usually they work separately. So this time when I was starting with this idea to make a compost pile, they were very excited. And then we were discussing the first thing that I told them, that it's very important to have a shaded place, and that it's easy to have accessibility. So it's not so difficult, but somehow a way that it's easy to walk there. So I proposed them that we needed a rectangle, and this rectangle would be with 3 meters long and half of a meter wide. So this was the challenge that I gave to them. Then they started to have to say, yeah, I want to dig, I want how to do it, and we were discussing, and then at once they want to go for action. So I also told them, asked them a little bit before, why do they think it's needed to have a shaded place? And they came out with, yeah, it's good because if it's very warm, then the worms will not like it. Or yeah, we were speaking a little bit about why it's so important to have a shaded place. And the second thing that I tried to speak with them is why we needed to make the rectangle in 3 parts. And so some they are not interested anymore. Why do it in 3 parts? But for some, I can get still the attention why we needed to divide the rectangle in 3 parts. And this is because we put first the leftovers in one part of these 3 parts. Then in the next week, we have to move it for the second part, for the middle one. And we keep doing these, dividing, moving these parts. So next time we can put the leftovers at the third part. And then we move the third part to the second, to the middle one, when we take this one to the first. I don't know if I was clear, but let's say that we have 1, 2, 3. We took leftovers to the first one. We put them then down. Then the next week, we move it to the second. But at the same time, we got more leftovers. We put it in the third. And when we took from the second to the first, we use always the middle one, the number 2, to move the leftovers from one side to the other, let's say the compost. So like this, they understood that we have to move and why we have to move, and we discussed this. And then we really go to the activity. So they start to dig. Some, especially the boys, they start to dig, and the other group starts to see if there is a rectangle and how to have a balance, digging in a way that it's a rectangle and not, another shape. And so they start to, as you can see here, they start to dig. This is one of the things that they love at most, is to dig. If I would ask them to dig, it would be the only thing they would do every day. They love. Second thing that we do, it's to measure, to make some mathematical calculations. How do we know that it's 3 meters? We don't have a tape, so they decided this time. They came up with this idea. We don't have a tape, so we will use our own foot as a unit of measurement. So they were counting the steps. And in a way that we would do this rectangle divided in 3. So they would do everything with the steps, these easy calculations, and then they divided with some sticks. So they came up with these ideas and with these solutions. It was not me. I only made the proposal, and they came up with the ideas. They got these solutions, and this is very nice that they get always solutions. Then we went to the kitchen. We got the raw leftovers from the kitchen. And as you can see, this is divided in 3, and they start to put the leftovers in one, in the number 1, the first part of the rectangle. And we always put the same amount of straw, the same quantity of straw as we have leftovers. We need, it's like a dry part, that we say that it's the carbon part, and the leftovers, they have to be more or less the same quantity, that you have a very a balance process, that it's not too humid or too dry. It's that it's going well, this process. After this, we cover with some plastic in a way that it's waterproof, that this stays protected, and that the process can start. So this is a very easy activity, and I don't have so many pictures here, but it's like they divided rather in 3 groups, and they were doing, one was collecting the plastic, another ones were digging, another ones had ideas, other ones are just running around and not all of them are working at the same time. Some they really focus, some we have to be as teachers to let them run and come and then go. The kids that are more active, they run a lot, they go around. Some are dreamy and some are working. So it's like each one will find a way to participate, and this is the most important. It's different than in the classroom, that we try that all are working in the doing activities, and we try that all do the same. Here they divide in groups, and we have also to think that some will do more than others will be more attentive maybe for little things, little animals, each one will find a way to be happy there. And there is always students that are the ones that organize, that are the leaders. Once I had sometimes I have people that are really nice, because each one find a way. Some are the leaders, some are following the leaders, and so the things, like in normal life, they work very well. So they find their own way of being, and their own better way, the best way to participate and to take the task to success in this task, to have success in this task. And this is very beautiful to see the things going, and they are so happy. Okay, then we change to another activity, and to change, I always ask them as a way to change. Okay, now it's the moment that we count the materials, see all the tools, if everything is okay, and we put it in box, and one is taking the gloves and other one, so everyone is putting the things into place. And so they come down and they see that this is the moment that we change activity. So usually they sit, and I prompt them to draw. Usually I prompt them to draw the activity, but in this time it was more focused on the mathematical calculations. So some they wanted to draw, but some started at once to make the calculations. So what did I ask them? They knew that, imagine they used for one rectangle, they used like 25 steps. So they knew this, and now we were doing, I don't know in English, but it's regra três simples. Does someone knows this in English? Okay, so but it's to make the proportion.
A simple proportion
between the thing that they have done, like in the here you can see in this picture, they wrote like, okay, 1 centimeter will be 26 steps. And because they needed like 26 steps for this rectangle. So now they draw the rectangle, and they assume that 1 centimeter will be 26 steps. So they are doing calculations, mathematical calculations that are simple, but that they are needed for them to represent the activity in the book, in the paper. So this is a very simple activity, and it's an exercise that comes very natural, because they want really they need this operation, let's say. Okay, here they are working. Then I always help them doing some questions. It's like when they are drawing a leek or a salad, or whatever. It's the same. Now it's with mathematical calculations, but I keep asking questions in a way that they think about how to solve it. Okay, and now as a teacher, I come to the part that how do we plan and implement the activity. So the work, how I support my activity, and the work that it's behind these simple activities. So the practical activities, just to collect kitchen raw leftovers. This is what we have to do. And in the drawing activities, here I start to ask them, because they are very focused about the worms. They see worms all the time, so this is a wonderful time to ask them if they saw a worm, that they can draw the worm, or I can also ask them to if they see how they move. It's a moment that we can catch. Sometimes we just take a worm and we put it on the paper, and they see how the worm is moving. Some are very interested. They listen to the noise and they understand. I ask them, how do you think that they move? And they try to, they look, they watch, they see the movement that the worms do to move. Sometimes they use the loop to see if they have feet or not, or do they have, and it's very interesting. And I keep making questions, and the questions are never equal to everyone, because it depends what they are interested. Some are drawing this, so I make questions to this. Some are drawing other things, or are more interested just in the mathematical calculation, so help them in that. So it's very interesting to, as a teacher, we have to be aware that we have different tasks to do at the same time, because they will not do all the same. I wrote here, like, make an instruction guide for compost care, and this is very interesting if we do cooperative drawing. And next week I will speak about cooperative drawing. It's very interesting to have a group doing cooperative drawing. So this is a very interesting activity. It's also, after doing all this, it's important that we have instruction. It can be just a paper where they write what we can put and what we cannot put as leftover, like orange is not good, lemon is not good. So what is good, what's not, and they write it that everyone can see what we can put or not when we go to the kitchen to take the raw leftovers. So there is a lot to do, and there is always a way that someone is also catched to do that, because you will see that among 12 children, 12 pupils, some are interested in this and some are interested in something else. So you have to be very flexible, let's say. And this is a very nice, it's like being a teacher at the gardens is very challenging, but at the same time it's full of, let's say, it's not boring at all. And then it's if there is time, it's interesting to think about all the, if we prepare at home, what can we speak about before we go to the activity in the garden. It's very important. Like, it's this that I already told you, how worms can move, why do different organisms indicate different levels of humidity in the compost. If we see many bichos de conte, I don't know the name in English. If we see ants, there is it's because maybe it's too. If there is lots of flies, maybe it's too humid. It depends of which animals we see. They are saying something about how our compost is, if it's too dry or too wet, or if it's not going somewhere, something is not going well, so we have to put a little bit of more humidity, or we have to put more straw. Yeah, all this, it's interesting to speak with them. Science concepts, what's behind, how can we work with a teacher that is inside of the classroom, speaking with them about these contents, like what the organisms need, and then we can see that the worms, they need humidity, light. In this case, they don't need light, they don't want light. What's the temperature that they need? What kind of food? What are they doing? Why do they like so much the leftovers? So we have all these science concepts that we can work, and we just have to choose one or two, keep it, and work about this. And it's very interesting because it's there, they are interested, because they want to understand better what's going on. And then we are always training a lot of competences, like observation all the time, taking the kids to do hypotheses, and testing the hypotheses that they have by experimentation. argumentation. We can, when we say, yeah, but why do you say that? And then but what do you think it's like this? So this is argumentation, it's training their argumentation. And this time it was also to show you that we sometimes need to do mathematical calculations. So it's really very rich. It can really be very rich. Just one activity is so rich of content, of competences. It's amazing. Okay, now I have here some pictures that you see how interesting can be. Here you can see this kid is so focused observing an insect that he catched. Here these two kids, they are drawing and they are speaking. They are drawing. They are near the pond, and they are drawing. I don't remember what, but they are speaking about that, and it's very interesting. These kids, maybe some of the teachers from our school, they remember this one. It's very funny, and they are observing and discussing things. Here, it's that the ones that don't know our school, to have an idea how it's our garden. So this is it's more or less this dimension. It's not so big. And here are some tables that they have where they can sit outside and draw. And here I have also decided to put this picture that you have an idea. So this is the bed where we put it's always covered with straw to keep the humidity, to protect from too much erosion and sun. So it's always covered, and also to avoid that the grass is growing, even if you can not avoid totally, but it's much better with the straw here. So here it's like this, and that's it.